Welcome back to the channel. This is Ready Storm and you are watching fourth part of What If Naruto Was Betrayed and Destroyed Konoha. If you enjoy this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Terumi Mi was a lovely lady. She had a flawless body, flowing red hair, legs that turned heads almost all the way around until they went snap, and a well-developed chest that made men drool before their girlfriends or wives smashed them over the head with a frying pan. She was also the Mist Village's Mizukage, and she had a way of scaring her own subordinates if they did something stupid. While the male cages of the 5 shinobi villages would sternly reprimand their subordinates, Mei discovered that sweet sickly threats of being killed by her own hands were far more effective, and the fact that she could back it up without hesitation helped as well. Many male cages in the past would scold one moment, then brush off the whole incident hours later with the whole, boys will be boys, philology in mind, but Mei wasn't one to embrace that philology in the least, and didn't favor either gender. You really screwed up? Terumi Mei would screw you over big time. And then kill you in a painful way. Unfortunately, the downside of this act, and being the Mizukage of Mist, was that no potential male suitors approached her for courtship. It was quietly whispered among her shinobi that she really needed to find herself a man with whom she could settle down and have children who would undoubtedly inherit the red-headed woman's nature. If only a man would bravely walk through that door and express his desire to date me. The cost of being so strong and beautiful, Mei thought to herself as she wished for a fearless warrior to step through those doors, sweep her off her feet, and take the female cage to his home to ravish her form repeatedly. Unfortunately, no one had done so. So be it. A woman can fantasize. Mizukage-sama? Inquired her aide and best censor shinobi by the name of Ao. Yes, Ao? Mei asked, trying to be civil with him because she suspected it was his fault the shinobi whispered about her needing a man. There is someone here to see you, Mizukage-sama, and he claims to be Uzumaki Naruto, formerly of Konoha, Ao replied, sticking his head through the door and seeing the red-haired woman, who looked surprised. Uzumaki Naruto? Here. Send him in, you baka. Do it now or I'll kill you. Exclaimed Mei, quickly inspecting herself to ensure she looked like the stunning woman every man recognized when they saw her form. Mei would never consider herself a cradle robber, but she recognized a young, handsome, strong, and competent man when she saw one. The bingo book had been updated a few days ago with a picture of Uzumaki Naruto's current appearance in comparison to the picture Konoha had released shortly after the boy's departure. She couldn't blame him for leaving because he had been tortured his entire life and wished to be free of their schemes before they destroyed him. Self-preservation was a wonderful thing at times, and there was no shame in it if your life had been a disaster. As for Naruto, the female Mizukage nearly drooled at the sight of the updated picture, and she knew this child was no longer a child in the least. He was taller and stronger, and he wasn't afraid to fight those who crossed his path with the intention of exploiting him. He was flawless. All Mei had to do was play the happy host, show a little skin, and speak in such a way that bees thought honey was a poor substitute, and Naruto would be her man by the end of the day. I hope we're not intruding at an important time, Mizukage-sama, said Uzumaki Naruto as he walked in with Ao, who was now sweating nervously, and with reason given the female companion with the blonde. Of course not. I'm actually surprised you came to see me given your status as a missing nin of Konoha. I hope my shinobi didn't cause you too much trouble when coming here, Mei replied sweetly, ignoring the green-haired girl clearly around Naruto's age and the tick mark she wanted to wear while sending a quick glare to Ao for allowing this young harlot into her office. They were civil. Though they were understandably hostile at first, I only disabled them with a few broken bones before your assistant here came with more of your forces, and tried to calm things down. Very level-headed. A credit to your forces, Naruto explained, with Ao clearly pleased with the compliment and seeing Mei do the same. Even with a guest the woman actually wanted in her office, This was a very rare thing to get from the Mizukage. Yes. I take it the girl next to you is the Taki Jinchuriki? The one called Fu, I believe? Mei asked, smiling at Fu, who scowled slightly at the term girl, like she was some lil 10-year-old. With respect, Mizukage-sama, I am not a girl, but a woman like you, though I consider myself to be a much younger woman than yourself, Fu replied, Mei now sporting a slight tick mark and Ao perspiring with nervousness. Whatever happened in this room now? Ao knew he'd bear the brunt of it later. I will remember that before you leave my office to look for the nearest toy shop that the little toddlers around here like to visit, Mei shot back, and the lightning these two women were shooting at each other could be seen. Thank you for your kind thought, Mizukage-sama. I'm sure the retirement home for the elderly that you intend to visit within the month is lovely this time of year, Fu shot back, seeing Mei's eyes narrow dangerously while she still smiled. With a hint of peeing himself, Ao appeared ready to leap out the window. Enough. Fu. You shouldn't insult our host here because we're on business, and insulting a beautiful woman by calling her old is not wise in building future relations, Naruto said, deciding to step in before things got nasty, which he defined as full-blown female catfight between two cage-level kunoichi. If Mist was lucky, they'd turn him into a crater. What Naruto didn't realize was that Mei had blocked out most of what Naruto had just said to Fu, focusing on key words that were specific to herself. Words she had taken out of context, which happened on occasion while hearing only the words, beautiful woman, and, of course, future relations. It made Mei gush at being called a beautiful woman, and her own interpretation of his choice of words in relation to their future relations was now spiraling into the erotic nature of what that could entail. Sorry, Naruto-sama, Fu apologized, though he could tell she only meant to a point. He described me as beautiful and expressed an interest in future relationships with me. My dream man has arrived, and my wish has come true, Mei thought to herself as she imagined the two of them marrying, having children, and this green-haired hussy serving them while wearing a sign that said, property of Terumi Mei, over herself and a shock collar around her neck that would zap the harlot if she even considered looking at the red-haired woman's husband in an erotic manner. Mizukage-sama. You're daydreaming again. Ao, who had decided to stand beside Mei and keep the woman from embarrassing herself in front of the two Jinchuriki, said quietly. And taking it out on him after the meeting. What? Oh yes. Thank you, Ao. I was just distracted by something. Now what is this business you wish to discuss with me, Uzumaki-sama? Mei asked, focusing on the task at hand and deciding to postpone the plan of seducing the warrior in front of her for a later time. Without the green-haired harlot beside him sabotaging her efforts. Yes. As you may know, there is an organization called the Akatsuki, which is made up of S-class missing nin, and they are hunting down Jinchuriki. I was wondering what your official stand was on them and Jinchuriki in general considering. Well, your late predecessor was one of us, Naruto explained, with Mei nodding but not frowning at the mention of the previous Mizukage. I understand. The truth is, despite what happened under his rule, I have no ill will towards Jinchuriki or Yagura himself. In fact, I've found evidence that Yagura was not the cruel man everyone made him out to be, as he was in fact manipulated by an outside force, Mei explained before opening a drawer in her desk and taking out a small book before handing it to Naruto. A journal? Naruto asked, and Mei nodded. In Yagura's own handwriting. He wrote in this during his time as Mizukage and kept it well hidden in this desk in such a way that only his successor would notice where the item was kept. Read a few pages and you'll see, Mei explained as Naruto opened the book and began reading its contents. p. 13. Yesterday, the man in the orange mask appeared behind me. I'm not sure how he got into my office undetected, but I couldn't do anything, and my Biju did nothing. The man's one visible eye belonged to the Sharingan, and I could feel my mind twisting to his desires. Manipulate the situation so that bloodline users are perceived as horrible inhuman beings who deserve to die. That they were unnatural in their abilities and should be despised in the same way that most villages despised Jinchuriki. So I manipulated events to his liking, spreading propaganda and watching hatred spread throughout my village. With my name being the one people say when they talk about how this all happened, the hatred will eventually spread throughout the country, and no one will be safe from this action. p. 30. The masked man reappeared, his Sharingan eye spinning once more, his sick and twisted desires at the forefront of everything. He wants me to cause trouble and weaken Mist by committing more atrocities that will spark a rebellion in order to keep me busy. This will weaken Mist to the point where it will take years to fully recover, even if I am replaced by a competent Mizukage. My Biju can't do anything because he, too, is under the man's control and despises everything, just as I am forced to despise others right now. It hurts me to see the Biju inside my body transform against his will, just as it hurts me to see my actions in life without any control. p. 50. The masked man hasn't shown up this time, and I can feel his influence fading around me, but I know it's only a matter of time before he reappears, and this could be my final journal entry before his grip on me is complete. I've been writing in this as much as I can when the Sharingan Eye's influence on me is weak enough for me to regain control of my body. I've documented everything I can about my adversary, who is the enemy of the world and everything in it. The man claims to be Uchiha Madara, and he despises the world. This man was denied the title of Hokage after losing to the Shodem Hokage in the Valley of the End and escaping death. It's unclear whether this man is Uchiha Madara because I can only see his one Sharingan eye and nothing else. Simply an orange swirling mask. He despises Konoha for denying him what he believes is his right to have and will not accept anyone higher in power than himself. It makes no difference whether you are a daimyo, Kage, the Shinigami, or even Kami himself. He will seek to destroy you if you outrank him in any way. I'm not sure what his plan is for Jinchuriki, but he's gloated in my presence several times about how we'll be used to give him ultimate power and fulfill his dreams of being a god amongst all. I'm not sure how he does it, but the Biju, myself, and the rest of the Jinchuriki are crucial to his plan. My successor, I'm not sure if you'll find this or have time to read what's in this book, which is most likely what's left of my soul forged in these pages. I'm not sure if the Uchiha will find this book, but if it is a documentation of my time trapped within a prison of my own mind, I beg you to fight this man with everything you have and not let him win. This will only result in something worse than death itself. Enslavement. Uchiha Madara, Naruto said to himself as Kyuubi raged within him. That man. That man was there the night your mother gave birth. It was because of his actions that I went on a rampage and attacked Konoha. Exclaimed Kyuubi, his heart churning with rage at the man who had called him a weapon and a pet in front of him all those years ago before the fight with the Senju clan head. So the enemy has a face. A masked face, but a face nonetheless, and one we can work with for the time being, Naruto said, as Mei nodded. While I find it difficult to believe this man Yagura described as Uchiha Madara, it can't be ruled out because the Sharingan is shrouded in secrecy and rumored mutations. Madara had the most advanced Sharingan of the entire Uchiha clan. It was said he was the only one capable of using the Dujutsu connected to the Sharingan to its maximum potential. The fact he wears a mask now might indicate some horrible scar on his. In any case, this proves the Akatsuki are connected to him, and he is most likely the leader of the group, Naruto responded, because Madara's ego would never allow it. That's what I believe as well, but even with Yagura's journal, it would be difficult to prove because many would speculate his writing was that of a deranged Jinchuriki, who went insane once put in a position of power, and wanted to make an excuse for his actions in Mist, Mei said, and Naruto could see her point given the horrors her predecessor commanded of his troops. We need more evidence then, and since its members are after me, I can get it if I capture one alive and confirm the names of the other members, Naruto explained, with Mei nodding, because the Akatsuki's highest members would know one another, and capturing one of them for information would further confirm who's who among its ranks. Do you know anyone who should be considered a target of such a plan? Mei asked, Naruto smirking at her, and the Mizukage had to fight back a flush that was rising. That smirk alone was seductive. Two of them. They tried to kidnap me years ago when I went on the mission with Jiraiya of the Sannin to find Senju Tsunade of the Sannin so she could become the new Hokage of Konoha. Their names are Uchiha Itachi and Hoshigaki Kisame, Naruto explained, Mei's eyes wide. Kisame is a former Seven Swordsman of the Mist, and Uchiha Itachi is known for what he did to his own clan years ago. Exclaimed Mei, noting that while those two were powerful on their own, they were practically unbeatable when combined. I know. No doubt they're still looking for me right now at the behest of their shared master. I'm just about ready to take the fight to them, Naruto explained, while Mei looked at him with a calculating gaze before smiling as if to see if his words were true or not. I believe you are ready, though Fu here might need something of an edge against them when the time comes for her to fight, Mei replied, while Fu looked a little upset by her words, but the Mizukage wasn't out to hurt the girl's feelings, and was simply stating a fact. What did you have in mind? Naruto inquired. I heard some rumors during the fighting against Yagura about a legendary weaponsmith living deep in the forest region of Water Country, and it's also rumored that the man is an Uzumaki himself, who may have been around during the time of the founding of the major shinobi villages, and made some very powerful weapons. I should be able to flush him out to the point where we can at least talk, Naruto said to Mei, who just nodded dumbly. Mizukage-sama, Ao said quietly, jolting the redhead out of her reverie. Yes. I mean yes, you should be able to reach him. Hopefully, he will help Fu here, and maybe provide weapons for the other Jinchuriki as well. Yagura himself had a weapon made that was supposed to be similar to a weapon made by the weaponsmith, but it's a cheap knockoff when compared to something the old Uzumaki made, Mei explained, and Naruto nodded, knowing that anything an Uzumaki did made everything else look like crap. What's the name of this supposed Uzumaki? Naruto inquired, as he would require a name to go with that man. It's Muramasa. Uzumaki Muramasa. And for the record, you can count on Mist to help you when the time comes to combat the Akatsuki, and any other endeavors that prove beneficial to the village, Mei replied before Naruto rose from his seat, took her hand in his, and kissed it like a gentleman. Thank you for your help, Mizukage-sama. It has been a pleasure talking to such a beautiful as yourself. The rumors of your beauty do not do you justice, and those who spoke such weak words describing it should be killed, Naruto replied, Mei's face now matching the color of her hair. Oh, I'm sure you say that to all the beautiful women sitting in Akage's chair, Mei replied shyly, while Ao sent a death glare to Naruto, knowing that if the woman didn't leave this office in a happy mood, she would unleash her wrath on the only person left aside from herself. And the other person's name is Ao. No, you'd be the first female Kage I've ever called beautiful. The only other female Kage I've ever called beautiful is Tsunade, and she's an old hag. Not like you, my red-haired Haim, Naruto said while Fu gave him a "I can't believe you" look, because the blonde had been this way with Koyuki before they left Spring Country. Nonetheless, Fu obtained an autograph from the woman before leaving so she could get away with the Spring Daimyo. But what about this Mizukage hussy? No way. Oh, Naruto-kun. You are such a flatterer, Mei exclaimed as Naruto simply smiled at her. I aim to please. I hope to visit you when time allows. Until then, Mei-chan, Naruto said as he walked out of the room, Fu right behind him, her eyes flashing with daggers. Interesting meeting, wouldn't you say, Mizukage-sama? Ao asked, with Mei happily nodding in a small giggle before turning to face him. Ao-san, Mei replied, letting out a contented sigh. Yes, Mizukage-sama? Ao asked before the woman looked him in the eyes. Please leave my office so I can be alone to gather my thoughts. Before I kill you, Terumi Mei replied, her voice sweet and happy, but with a tone that Ao knew all too well with the hidden tone behind her words. Yes, Mizukage-sama, Ao quickly replied before leaping out the open window. Now if I could just get him to use the door instead of the window. Oh well, maybe Naruto-kun can teach him something after we're married, Mei thought to herself as she imagined the wedding, the honeymoon, and finally the children she would bring into the world. And, of course, having Ao keep an eye on the little tyrants she knew they'd be, while picturing the kids threatening to kill the man if they didn't get their way. It won't be just a dream forever, Mei thought, sighing at the dream and deciding she could wait a little longer for the promised day. Meanwhile, Ao felt a sharp chill run up his spine and didn't want to know what caused it. Also with Naruto and Fu. Did you have to flirt with the Mizukage like that? Fu asked, as Naruto raised an eyebrow at her. Jealous? Inquired Naruto, and Fu huffed. Of her? Why would I be jealous of her? Because she's an older woman? In a few years she'll have gray hair, wrinkles on her face, crow's feet around her eyes, and don't get me started on the boobs she's sporting. Fu exclaimed, while Naruto simply laughed. You are envious. I can see it in your eyes, face, and vocal tones when speaking about the Mizukage. Naruto countered, and Fu growled at him. Perhaps I have a reason to be jealous. I saw the look on her face the moment we walked into the room. Her loins were frothing the moment you walked in and she was practically seething inside over the fact I was there. Fu explained, and Naruto simply smirked. I'd think you'd take it as a compliment. It means she doesn't despise you for being a Biju container like so many others do, Naruto said, knowing Jinchuriki had feelings for him beyond their usual bonds of friendship. Oh yeah, it's great. It's so much better being despised by a woman who is older than me and despises me for being a younger woman currently with the man she wants over being a Jinchuriki, Fu retorted sarcastically as Naruto shook his head. Fu, I'll tell you what I told Koyuki the last day we were in Spring Country when she proposed the idea of us marrying to nullify my missing nin status. When it comes to the woman I care about, it's not about the body, or the looks that make my heart beat faster. It's their spirit, their kindness to others, and the inner strength most women I've met in life just don't have anymore. Most women aren't strong like you, Mei. Oh really? What about that Sakura girl in Konoha? From what I've heard, you had a thing for her and took a lot of hits in the process, Fu inquired, and Naruto laughed. I was trying to reach out to anyone capable of loving me, and I thought it would be Sakura after I saved her from some bullies one time and she wanted to be my friend. Only a few days later, she denounces our newfound friendship because her parents knew I was the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, and told Sakura to never be my friend no matter what. So every girl in Konoha is a lost cause, huh? Fu inquired, her voice hopeful. No. At least. One of them I saw with the group hunting me didn't have eyes of hatred. She had eyes of sorrow. She didn't want to fight me. I could see it as clear as I see you right now. No. At least, one of them I saw with the group hunting me didn't have eyes of hatred. She had eyes of sorrow. She didn't want to fight me. I could see it as clear as I see you right now. Everyone else there wanted to hurt me. 2. It could be a trick, Fu said as they continued walking through the forest. No, I saw into the depths of her soul when she looked at me, and I saw love. Naruto exclaimed, his voice shaking with surprise and yearning. Are you sure? She was with them. Fu asked, not wanting Naruto to think of someone from Konoha as a possible girlfriend. There was no lying in her, and being with only one woman is optional at this point due to my position as the last of a clan, remember? Naruto said, his eyes wide with surprise. Do you mean you have to have more than one wife? Fu asked, her jaw dropping and her finger pointing at him. If I choose to, yes. Given that I am the last or one of the few remaining members of the Uzumaki clan, I am allowed by international shinobi law to have multiple wives to revive the clan, Naruto explained before stopping and frowning for a moment. You could have told me sooner so I wouldn't be so jealous, Fu grumbled as he saw him become deadly serious and reach for his sword. Don't move, Naruto said, expanding his senses even more. Someone's here? Where? Is it the Akatsuki? Fu wondered, looking around for her foe but finding none. Don't move, said Naruto again as he cut through a tree, spun around, and his sword struck another, attempting to cut him in half. Your senses are sharp like the sword you wield. Is this the sword of Jubi? I haven't seen this thing in ages, an elderly man said before leaping back a few feet. You've seen this sword before? When? Asked Naruto, realizing that this old man could be an Uzumaki with a long lifespan or a big fat senile liar. Of course, in Whirlpool. Where else? It was at the base of the highest mountain. Quite a treacherous path to walk. Almost died myself in my younger days getting to that place when searching for the weapon to one day wield myself, explained the old man as Naruto and Fu just stared at him. You're an Uzumaki, aren't you? Uzumaki Muramasa, exclaimed Naruto, and the old man, who had changed his name, smiled. Yes. I am. I knew Uzumaki Mito years ago. I was a few years younger than her at the time of her marriage to the Senju clan head. Many were against it on all three sides for the bad blood each clan shared for one another, and ours especially for the sword itself, along with the Rinnegan we inherited from the Sage of Six Paths bloodline. But Mito loved the Senju clan head and he loved her in return. If you knew where the sword of Jubi was all this time until I took it. Why didn't you try to take it? Wield it yourself? Naruto asked as Muramasa sighed and sat down on a nearby rock. Because I wasn't meant to have it. Believe me when I say the temptation to take the sword of Jubi was there. The sword once wielded by the Sage of Six Paths after forging it from the very fang of Jubi before it went to the hands of Genshin was right there for the taking. The very grave marker signifying where Uzumaki Genshin had been buried was within my reach to pull out of the ground. How did you survive Whirlpool's fall? Asked Naruto, as Muramasa sighed again, looking even older than the blonde had expected. It wasn't easy. No one saw it coming. Konoha's shinobi were all over the place under the guise of reinforcing our defenses on intel of a possible invasion. They struck swiftly and decisively, with our positions where we could retreat being cut off by their forces. Few managed to get away during the fighting, but we had no way to contact each other, and felt that was for the best until things calmed down, Muramasa explained, Naruto frowning. And you've been waiting here in Water Country all this time? Naruto asked, with the old Uzumaki nodding. Yes, at this point in my old life, the only people I can trust are Uzumaki like yourself. I spent my time making weapons for the day when an Uzumaki would arise to reclaim the honor stolen from us, and you are that Uzumaki, as the ancient dragon sage foretold to Mito a few years before her marriage, Muramasa explained, Naruto frowning. I thought the toads foretold the prophecy? Murmured Fu, scoffing at the idea of the toads taking credit where credit was due. The toads, like all the animal summons, heard of the prophecy from the dragons, but they broke the sacred vow to never speak of it to their current summoner because he had a hand in its outcome and wanted to control how it ended, Muramasa replied, Naruto's eye widening and then narrowing. Jiraiya. That's why he took me on as a student for a short time, so it would come true and then he could manipulate things so the prophecy would come out the way he wanted it to, with Konoha on top, Naruto raged. No doubt he told the Sandaime Hokage, and they set the whole thing up to stop, if not control, the prophecy's outcome because Dragon Sage spoke of the prophecy being specifically tied to an Uzumaki being taught by the man, Muramasa explained, Naruto's blood boiling with rage. Well, he succeeded in teaching me very little at first, and the whole business with retrieving Uchiha Sasuke no doubt brought about the decision to end things before they got too far out of his control, Naruto concluded, and Muramasa nodded. I sense you also have the ancient contract thought lost forever to our clan. Have you signed it yet? Muramasa inquired, to which Naruto nodded and produced the contract for the old man to examine. Would you like to sign it? You are an Uzumaki and more than worthy, Naruto asked, but the old man waved it away. No, I'm too old to summon any of them. I barely have enough energy these days to get out of bed and make myself breakfast. I doubt I could summon a dragon's egg, Muramasa replied, with Naruto smirking at him. I don't know. You move pretty fast for a super old man, Naruto said, with Muramasa slightly laughing. I use the ancient art of conserving energy during the day so that when I have to move, I can move like those a third of my age do now. It's an art all Uzumaki clan members know instinctively alone when we reach old age, Muramasa replied with a small chuckle. It serves you well, but the reason I'm here is to see if you'd be willing to assist me and my fellow Jinchuriki by providing them with weapons? We need them to combat an enemy intent on extracting the Biju from our bodies, Naruto stated, and Muramasa was deep in thought for a moment. Before falling asleep and causing his two guests to face plant. Wake up, old man! Yelled Fu, as Muramasa jerked awake and looked around, as if he didn't know where he was. What? Huh? Oh. You wanted to know if I could help you, right? Murmured Muramasa, furious at Fu's forgetfulness. Yes, would you help me and the other Jinchuriki? Asked Naruto, with Muramasa sighing and turning to the right, motioning them to follow. Let's see what I have in stock. Tell me about each Jinchuriki, and I'll see what weapon best suits them, Muramasa replied, and Naruto smiled at him. No problem. There's still one missing, but I'm confident we'll find him before the Akatsuki, Naruto said, as Muramasa looked back at him in thought. Oh. You mean Utakata? He's been staying with me for a while, Muramasa replied, shocking Naruto and Fu. How did that happen? Fu wondered. It's really sad. The boy believes his old master, Harusame, betrayed him for what he held, and I found Utakata wandering the forests of Water Country fighting off hunter nins who were pursuing him at the time. Eventually, he stumbled upon me after collapsing from days without rest, or even an ounce of food to eat. So I took him in, kept the mist shinobi, and the rebels from finding the boy until. Clever. A camouflage seal designed to mask the surrounding area and, no doubt, to block even the Byakugan's power, Naruto replied, looking around to see the old man's house and weapon-making hut were at different distances from each other. Correct. I am well aware of the Byakugan's abilities and that the current Mizukage has someone with one such eye, Muramasa stated, causing Naruto to frown before realizing it was that owl guy with the eye patch. For an old man, he sure is smart and crafty with his work, Fu said calmly as she noticed several weapons in plain sight. He's an Uzumaki. Did you expect anything less? Naruto countered, his face flushed. Good point, Fu said before they noticed Utakata standing on the front step of the house, his eyes wary. It's okay, Utakata-san. They're like you, Muramasa said, as Utakata looked at the two with surprise before walking towards them. Which do you hold? Utakata inquired, a hint of desperation in his voice as he sought those like himself who would not betray him. The 9, Naruto replied. Lucky number 7. Fu exclaimed. The 6, Utakata said, as Naruto and Fu nodded. We have a lot to talk about, Naruto explained, with Utakata nodding in agreement, and they all went into the house to have a long conversation. Akatsuki headquarters months later. It's time. We've waited 3 years since the Kyuubi brat left Konoha. We've waited for the 5 shinobi villages to be weak enough to attack their Jinchuriki without the necessary support or protection from their villages. We've waited for the 3-tailed Biju to reform after its host died. Now is the time to strike out against them and collect their power to bring the elemental countries to their knees, said the shadowy figure, looking around. With their traveling to different locations, the Kyuubi and Nanabi Jinchuriki are the most elusive of the bunch. Konoha has been trying to catch him for years with Jiraiya using his spy network, but has failed each time, stated an emotionless voice belonging to one Uchiha Itachi. Not to mention the 6-tailed Jinchuriki has reappeared to join them in their travels around the elemental countries. We've been trying to figure out what they've been doing at each place, but so far it just seems like they were passing through, and each place has a secluded place to train, explained Zetsu's white half. It doesn't matter. Itachi and Kisame will engage them. I want those 3 found and restrained before the extraction process can begin. It has to be done in a specific order, the man looking at the group explained. Yes, Pain-sama, Itachi and Kisame both agreed. Sasori and Deidara will attack Suna, while Hidan and Kakuzu will go after Kumo's 2-tailed Jinchuriki, Pain said as the group nodded. Yes, Pain-sama, they all said at once. Go. You have your orders, Pain said, as everyone else left their positions, leaving only one. Just as another shadow appeared. Things aren't going as planned, Pain, said the voice as Pain stared at the shadow. Konoha's actions against the Kyuubi Jinchuriki were an unexpected development that we did not foresee, Madara, Pain replied, as the man in front of him only narrowed his one visible eye. Your inability to command the Akatsuki up to this point has allowed the Kyuubi brat to grow stronger and potentially become a problem if allowed to grow further, Madara said before fading into the shadows. Make no mistake, Madara, when the world finally achieves peace, you won't be there to witness it. Thought Pain as he planned a method to remove the man from the game when everything was nearly in place. Sometime later, with Naruto, Fu, and Utakata. The trio was driving down the road, on their way to a nearby town to rest and replenish their supplies. They'd been traveling for months after their meeting, talking to Muramasa about the weapons he'd asked the old man for each Jinchuriki. They had to do it quietly, as if they were scattered to various random locations, and as if they were just trying to avoid Hunter Nin's pursuit. Naruto had obtained Muramasa's permission to use the weapons he had created to fight the Akatsuki organization alongside the other Jinchuriki. The trick was getting them to each one. Utakata was given a pair of swords called the Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang by Muramasa, which when mastered would be a brutal and lethal combination. Muramasa believed the boy's natural agility and nimbleness would give him an advantage in battle when using both swords, and a test run proved him correct. Fu was given a pair of Fumakodachis, which would aid the girl in combat by allowing her to get up close and personal with the enemy before stabbing them with lethal precision. The girl practically danced in a circle while coveting her new weapons, and her bone-crushing hug nearly killed Muramasa. Naruto was perfectly content with the sword of Jubi. Nonetheless, Muramasa felt the blonde Uzumaki should get something else to help him, so he gave him a scroll about his mother's bloodline, which involved chakra chains. While the use of the Rinnegan was rare, all cases in which one of the Uzumaki clan used such power had information about it documented down to the last detail, as well as the techniques involved. Muramasa had apparently known about Kushina's ability to use them since he knew her parents, and how she inherited it from one or both of them. He wanted to give it to her before leaving, but he never got the chance because Jiraiya left with the girl and Whirlpool fell soon after. Naruto accepted and thanked him humbly. Naruto had gotten Han the Dabblero Berserk sword, which seemed perfect for the already tall man and could be used when covering the area in a thick layer of steam. The enemy would be so overwhelmed that they would never be able to block, dodge, or counter the massive weapon designed to slice through its enemies mercilessly. Roshi was given Enma's Fang, which suited him well given his lava affinity, and the weapon itself would use it when a bit of Bijuu's chakra was added to the mix. When sand wasn't enough, Naruto had to visit Suna discreetly to give Gaara the lunar staff, which was a good combination of offensive and defensive fighting. Naruto also explained to Gaara how the staff is even more powerful when the moon is out and at its most powerful when full. After that, Naruto went to Kumo and gave Yugito the Inferno Hammer and Killer Bee the Eclipse Scythe, knowing that it would give the man an edge comparable to his usual multi-sword style. The enemy would be caught off guard because they knew the tall muscled man was a master of such things, and the new weapon would add a new element that the Akatsuki would not be prepared for. "We're being followed," Naruto said, his voice growling. "Hunter Nin?" Utakata asked, his face calm but his body tense. "Akatsuki. 2 members with high-level chakra signatures. If they are who I think they are, be on your guard at all times," Naruto ordered, his group nodding in agreement. "I hope they're ready to die, because I'm ready to kill them," Fu exclaimed as he noticed the 2 members of the organization standing in front of them. "You 3 will come with us peacefully," Itachi replied, as Kisame braced himself for a fight. "How about you 2 get a room and shove that sword up your ass?" Fu countered, smirking at the 2. "You heard my lovely companion, and until you do what she said, we won't go with you," Naruto smirked. "We don't need them in one piece, right Itachi?" Kisame asked as he unwrapped Samahata. "No, I was hoping to avoid a confrontation, but unfortunately. It is unavoidable," Itachi replied, as Kisami's grin widened. "My exact thoughts," Naruto said before drawing his blade and setting the 2 Akatsuki members on edge. "It's that sword. It's sending chills up and down my spine." "But why is that?" Itachi thought as he felt something inside his body tremble with fear and activated his Sharingan while staring at the engravings on the blade's side. Praise be to God for bringing order from the brink of chaos. That's what Itachi saw when he used his Sharingan eyes to decipher the words. Fancy sword. It even has lightning shooting out of it. Did you get it from Kumo or something? Kisame asked as Naruto smirked at him and pulled the cloth over his mouth. If I told you the truth, it would only frighten you, Naruto explained before laughing. We'll see about that. Itachi, take on the 2 behind the blonde. I want to see if his sword is up to par with my Samahata, Kisame said as Itachi stood motionless, staring at the sword in Naruto's hand, and feeling as if death itself was watching this play out. Fu. Utakata. Be wary of Itachi. His Sharingan eyes are not to be underestimated, and remember what our special teacher told us about that bloodline's limits when it comes to using a Bijuu's chakra, Naruto said, not naming Muramasa. We will, Naruto-sama, Fu said, while Utakata just nodded silently as they drew their weapons. Kisame grinned as he charged forward, moving quickly for a guy his size, and collided with Naruto's preferred weapon. The crimson-yellow energy from the sword of Jubi lashed out at Samahata, and the spike-covered blue sword howled out in pain within moments of making contact, shocking Kisame. It didn't surprise Naruto, who had spent his time studying the weapon he was using and how it worked when fighting an enemy. The missing Nin from Mist was so taken aback that Naruto was able to press his attack and temporarily put Kisame on the defensive. What exactly is going on? Samahata is in discomfort, screaming in excruciating pain. What exactly is that sword? Kisame thought as he blocked another slash, dodged Naruto's left-handed gauntlet claws, and took a kick to the ribs that sent him flying back. You seem perplexed by something, Kisame. Does it surprise you that you're having such a difficult time defeating me with just a few swings of your sword? Naruto asked before rushing the swordsman and clashing with their blades once more. Shut up, brat. Water style. Flood water jutsu. Exclaimed Kisame before unleashing a massive water wave on him. Naruto leapt into the air to avoid the massive flood of water, as did everyone else around him, because the jutsu was known to harm both friends and foes if used recklessly. Everyone was using the water walking technique right now to stay above the now flooded area Kisame had created, and Itachi didn't seem pleased with this new development. Both Fu and Utakata stood on either side of the Uchiha, their weapons poised to strike, but they kept their distance from him after noticing the Sharingan was active. They'd be at the mercy of Uchiha if they made a mistake. Are you ready, Utakata-san? Fu asked, the six-tailed Jinchuriki nodding. Don't look at his eyes. They're key to him disabling us, Utakata replied, as the two moved quickly against the Uchiha while looking down at their target's feet and seeing his eyes in the watery reflection below. How perceptive you both are. I applaud you for that, Itachi said as they each stabbed him before he transformed into a flock of crows and flew into the air, swarming down on them. Hidden. Drowning bubble jutsu. Exclaimed Utakata, as he caused a massive amount of bubbles to appear in front of the crows, and flew before each crow except one was caught in it. The remaining crow flew away from the two Jinchuriki before manifesting as Itachi once more, and the Uchiha frowned because he hadn't expected his crows to perish or that the Jinchuriki had devised such an easy way to defeat them. Fu was already on him, her eyes not looking directly at his, and she was slashing him to pieces with her weapons of choice. She was clearly lethal with them, as her quickness allowed her to get up close and personal with the target before gutting it like a fish. Itachi was able to avoid each attack, but only with difficulty because his feet were being watched, and Fu would react based on their position. Because they were both not looking him in the eyes, he couldn't use his Sharingan to subdue her or Utakata. Even if he used the water's reflection, it would only stall one or both of them for a split second, leaving insufficient time for either to fall. Even if he did, it would leave his body vulnerable to attack, and Itachi had learned the hard way that leaving yourself vulnerable was lethal. Utakata. Close your eyes now. Hiding in scale powder jutsu. Exclaimed Fu as she unleashed her powder-based attack on Itachi, who had already closed his eyes to prevent further damage to his optical organs and moved quickly thanks to his years as a shinobi to dodge Utakata's sword strikes before leaping away when Fu made her move against him. While this was going on, Naruto was fighting Kisame in a ruthless battle for sword supremacy. Kisami's strength was being tested against the young man, which was a bit intimidating for the Shark Man because few could match him. Not only that, but the physical blows Naruto delivered were excruciatingly painful, and each direct hit felt like a sledgehammer. Damn kid, have you been eating your vegetables or what? Kisame asked after a kick to the face knocked him back. Something like that. I've been through hell, and my only regret is that I didn't get a chance to send you or anyone else a postcard, Naruto replied, with Kisame simply grinning at him. I like you kid. It's a shame things went this way because you would have been a fantastic partner for the Akatsuki or the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist, Kisame explained as the blonde Uzumaki smirked but the Shark Man couldn't see it. Thank you. It's a shame you chose the wrong side. The Akatsuki will fall along with all of its members, Naruto said, seeing the Shark Man laugh at his claim. Really? And how is the Akatsuki going to fall? By your hands? Please. I know what the Akatsuki leader can do, and you are nothing compared to him regardless of the biju in your gut. Exclaimed Kisame as he swung his sword downward at Naruto, their blades clashing once more. So you know Uchiha Madara lives? Asked Naruto, with Kisame looking surprised and Itachi stiffening at the man's name. Madara? That's not his name, Kisame said, clearly perplexed by Naruto's words. Then the Akatsuki leader is not the true leader. He's a puppet for the one lurking in the shadows, Naruto said, with Kisame grinning even more. Even if that's true, it just proves you're no match for the organization no matter what. Exclaimed Kisame as they clashed violently against each other, but Naruto dodged at the last second, thrusting his sword into the shark man's gut. It's a shame you won't live long enough to see which of us is right, Naruto said as the steel of his sword cut through Kisami's flesh and bone, causing the man to scream in agony. Naruto died slowly and agonizingly, with blood spilling over the front of his body. Fuck it. Kisame is no longer alive. The situation is now worse than it has ever been. I need to get back to Pain and report my findings to him before telling Jiraiya about this new development, Itachi thought as he moved to flee, but Fu and Utakata were both in his way, and Naruto was staring at him. And where do you think you're going, Uchiha Itachi? Asked Naruto, who could feel the boy's chakra rising significantly. I won't go down without a fight, Itachi said, staring at Naruto, who was staring at the man's feet and would know when the man moved. Yes, you will, Naruto replied before unleashing his chakra chains, which wrapped around Itachi, who was too stunned to move and ended up on the ground with one of the chains wrapped around his eyes. How? Kushina-san alone could. No. Itachi thought, the horrible realization sinking in. Death is upon you, Itachi. I will get the answers I want from you and then your life will end. It will be very satisfying to see Sasuke's face once I tell your psycho brother about how I killed you. How I took away his purpose in life and getting revenge for damn clan, Naruto said as he stood over Itachi, preparing to inflict pain on the Uchiha. How? How could I have overlooked it? He was the son of Uzumaki Kushina. However, the Sandaime had stated that it was only to honor Kushina's sacrifice. That I shouldn't look at the boy and feel any kind of attachment to Kushina because the child was not hers. But she was expecting. I know she was due to give birth shortly before the Kyuubi attack because father knew, and he was one of the few people who knew where she was because Kushina told mother. So, what made him lie? Itachi thought as he discovered the world he thought he knew had been turned upside down once more, and he felt conflict within him arise. We'll start with true or false. Is Uchiha Madara the true leader of the Akatsuki? Naruto asked, as Itachi's breathing became heavier. True, Itachi replied, surprised by the three Jinchuriki's response. Wait. How do we know if his answer is true or not? Fu asked, as Utakata nodded, because there was no way of knowing if the man on his knees in front of them was telling the truth. I would not lie to Uzumaki Kushina's son, and I would not lie to my true sensei, Itachi replied, as Naruto frowned at him. Explain yourself, Itachi. This is your one and possibly only chance to tell me what you're talking about, Naruto said, as Itachi took a deep breath and gathered his thoughts for a moment. It was years ago, when I was still a child growing up, and the Yondaime had yet to be made the Yondaime Hokage. Kushina was thinking about taking on an apprentice, but the pickings were slim, and few were even less worthy than anyone would be now in the Leaf. She was walking by one day, seeing me train hard at one of the more open training grounds, and saw my potential before anyone else. If that were true, she would have taught you the sealing arts, Naruto replied as the chains tightened around Itachi, the man hissing slightly in pain. No, she didn't have time to teach me that at all. My idiot father found out and went to the Sandaime Hokage before his retirement to ban her from ever continuing the apprenticeship because he felt the Uchiha clan's pride was above the training of an Uzumaki in the ways of being a shinobi regardless of the subject. The Sandaime then told your father that Kushina would stop teaching me or else the mantle of Hokage would go to my father instead. The Uchiha clan wouldn't trust me, and I'm still despised by the people, Naruto replied, with Itachi nodding slightly. Yes. It caused the Uchiha clan to despise the ruling powers of Konoha and wish to take it from them by force. During this time, I, along with Azuki Yugo, were occasionally assigned to protect you from harm, and the rare few that did our jobs. In the years following, the Sandaime pulled me off that duty, questioning my reasons for doing my job so well, and when I told him it was to honor Kushina-sensei. He told. And what did you do to Sasuke? Naruto asked, Itachi tensing slightly. I did it so Sasuke would despise me to the point where he wouldn't feel guilty about killing me one day, and to repay the debt I owe the Uchiha clan for killing so many when I didn't want to, but had no choice, and did what needed to be done for the village, Itachi replied, Naruto growling into his ear like an angry animal. Your brother is a power-hungry asshole because of you. Sasuke has gotten everything he has ever wanted from the village without even lifting a finger. Discounts in stores. Extra help at the academy from the instructors. Everyone showing such love and devotion to your spoiled brother no matter what he does in life. No, Itachi replied, and Naruto nodded before laughing. Konoha has become corrupt. They are investing in a Uchiha who has no conscience, no empathy, and no loyalty to the village like you do. Your brother will kill everyone around him for power and he'll do it with a smile on his face. I will kill your brother the next time we cross paths, Itachi. I won't spare him a third time and we both know why. What do you want from me? Itachi asked, almost sensing Naruto's smile. Good. Now we're getting to the heart of the matter. What I want Itachi to do is bring down the Akatsuki, Orochimaru, the Sannin's right hand, Konoha, and bring order to the chaos. We both know most of the daimyos are greedy, power-hungry fools who make the rich richer while the poor suffocate under their rule. They're samurai and still fear to prevent any uprisings and shinobi from. No. I don't want that. That's not what I wanted for Sasuke or the world. I'm tired of the chaos, the darkness, and the violent deaths caused by those around me. Exclaimed Itachi, and Naruto nodded, knowing he was close to killing the Uchiha. Good. We have a chance. A window of opportunity, and only if we act now can such a horrible thing be avoided. Hoshigaki Kisame is dead. You can make up whatever you want about how the fight here went down, and no one among the ranks of the Akatsuki can refute it. You know all the members of the organization. All the key players. You can help me play both Konoha and the Akatsuki because they expect your loyalty to them to be absolute. Naruto-sama? Fu inquired as Naruto raised his hand to assure her that everything was fine. I will help you end the world's chaos. What do you want to know first about the Akatsuki? Itachi asked, his eyes no longer active. Let's start with the who's who among the top members, Naruto said with a grin, and Itachi spilled his guts to him about everything he knew.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.